Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's 9 o'clock and time to begin the Truckee Meadows Fire District Board meeting for January 15th. And we will start by a salute to the flag, and we'll ask Mr. Mike Alger, one of our wonderful guests, if he would stand and lead us in the salute, please. Thank you, Mr. Alger. And with that, we'll go to the clerk for the roll call, please.
Marcia Burke-Bickler, Chair.
Here.
Kitty Jung, Vice Chair.
Present.
Bob Lucy is absent. Von Hartung.
Present.
Jeannie Herman.
Here.
Fire Chief Charles Moore.
Here.
Assistant District Attorney Paula Borelli.
Here.
And I'm Jan Galasini, Chief Deputy Clerk. Madam, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. And with that, we will turn this over to the Chief. We're going to excuse me, move item number 7, which is our presentation of the wards, up to before public comment. And so, Chief, we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We're here to honor the lives of Brian Morris and Manuel Torres, who gave their lives assisting people who were injured in a car accident on November 10th. So I'd like to invite their wives, Jan Morris, would you please come, and Rochelle Torres, please come on this side. Would you like your daughter, Tara, to join you? And Tara and Dave Matson. And your mother, Rosa. And Manuel Torres' mother, Rosa. Would you please join? I'd also like to bring forward Major Seppian from the Nevada Highway Patrol, Mr. Paul Burton of Remsa, Under Sheriff Yarborough, and Battalion Chief Alex Kuklis. If you would join me on this side, that would be wonderful. On November 10th, an accident occurred on Mount Rose Highway, which was a severe accident, and 2 bystanders, Brian Wayne Morris and Manuel Torres, stopped to assist. Their selfless act of kindness was unfortunately paid for in their deaths in the secondary accident. I'm reminded of the ancient story in the Bible of the Good Samaritan, when someone came upon a man who had been beaten and left for dead. Samaritan bandaged him and got him to a place where he could be cared for. The story reminds me of that, but unfortunately the price that was paid was far too high. So I'd like to take a moment to tell you about the lives of Mr. Morris and Mr. Torres. Brian was born and raised in Southern California. He met his wife, Jan, at College of the Redwoods in Eureka, California. Together, along with their daughter, Tara, they lived in Winnemucca, Nevada for 20 years before moving to Reno in 2015. Brian's commitment and conviction to his family was his utmost priority. He was a man of deep faith with a passion for adventure in the outdoors. He loved to explore the valleys of Nevada in his Jeep, hunt, fish, and ski. He was known as a mentor to many in his profession and shared his experiences and wisdom with younger individuals, to include his loving daughter, Tara. Brian earned a Bachelor of Arts with a major in geology from Humboldt State University of Arcata, California. Brian was dedicated and skilled in his career, and he was a geologist and mining executive and served many of the state's mining companies, to include BlackRock Gold Corporation, Klondex Mines, Newmont Mining, Hecla Mining, and Great Basin Gold. Brian's love for geology and mining was infectious. His friends would say that if there was gold in the ground, he'd be the one to find it. Brian was a member of the Geological Society of Nevada. He was known as an honorable man and inspiration to all who knew him. His family and friends would all tell you that Brian, without question, would risk his own life to help others. Our community will remember his kind heart and his sacrifice, and today we honor him with the Citizens Medal of Honor and express to his wife, Jan, daughter, Tara, his parents, Wayne and Darlene, along with his extended family and friends, that our community will not forget. Manuel Torres was born in Madrid, Spain in 1975 and became a United States citizen holding dual citizenships in both countries. He spoke 3 languages fluently. He lived in many places throughout the world and moved to the Reno area in 2016 after being inspired by the beauty and peace of the Lake Tahoe region. Manuel was an inspiration to his family and friends. He was known as an extremely kind and cultured individual, always putting others first. Manuel enjoyed the outdoors and loved to explore, hike, ski, and snowshoe in the Lake Tahoe Basin with his wife and 2 dogs, Comet and Luna. He was also a member of the Reno Running Club. Manuel was an overachiever. Fascinated by innovation, he received a bachelor's degree in aerospace engineering from Parks College of Engineering, Aviation, and Technology from St. Louis University, and a master's of Business Administration from the University of Michigan. He recently joined local-based Ariane Supersonic and managed the subcontractors in developing the world's first supersonic business jet. Manuel's wife, Rochelle, told us he always encouraged me to be my best and to live life to the fullest. He never took anything for granted. Manuel was known by his friends and loved ones as someone who always displayed a great deal of empathy and compassion towards others and always put others before himself. Our community will remember his kind heart and his sacrifice, and today we honor him with the Citizens Medal of Honor and express to his wife, Rochelle, and his mother, Rosa, along with his extended family and friends, that our community will not forget. Mrs. Torres, please accept this. Mrs. Morris. I'd like to introduce Major Seppian from Nevada Highway Patrol at this time.
Morning. My name is Rob Steppian. I'm a Deputy Chief of the Nevada Highway Patrol, and thank you for giving us this opportunity this morning. On behalf of the Nevada Highway Patrol, it is with our deepest sympathy and profound respect and a heavy heart that the Nevada Highway Patrol presents our highest honor of citizen bravery and fortitude to the family of Brian Morris and Manuel Torres. I'd like to read from the certificate at this time. Dean. The Nevada Highway Patrol presents the Meritorious Service Medal for the selfless act of extreme bravery and courage in the effort of saving the lives of drivers that were involved in a fatal collision on Mount Rose Highway on November 10th, 2018. Your dedication and the sacrifice to your fellow man, Brian and Manuel, will never be forgotten. Presented this 15th day of January, 2019. Chief.
Very, very difficult for the families, but we want to take and memorialize this event to honor these two men who were outstanding citizens of our community. And with your permission, Madam Chair, we'd like to take a photo in the well. Thank you. Would you like to join us for a photo? And with your staff as well, please, Major.
Anybody else would like to take a photo, you're welcome to do that.
Thank you, Chief, and for everyone else. Chief, would you take over for a minute, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. That concludes this item. Family, you're certainly welcome to stay, but if you'd like to leave, we'll escort you.
Thanks, Chief.
Okay. Kitty, Kitty, are my eyes black? That was tough.
Madam Chair, we could proceed with the rest of the agenda in order as if you
Thank you,
wish.
Chief. So with that, we will take an opportunity, if any of the commissioners want to put on record any of their thoughts. I think our hearts are all broken. So thank you all. With that, we will go back to our regular agenda. And Madam Clerk, I don't see any public comment. Do you have any?
There's nobody signed up.
Okay, fine. We'll close public comment and move it back to the board for item 4. Chief?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 4 is Commissioners, Fire Chiefs announcements, requests for information, topics for future agendas, and statements relating to items not on the agenda. No discussion among commissioners will take place on this item. I have no announcements.
You have nothing? Commissioners, any comments? I see nothing, so we'll close 4 and move on to item 5. Chief?
Item 5 is recommendation to approve the minutes from the December 18th, 2018 meeting for possible action.
I see no public comment. Do we have a motion to approve? So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Chief?
Item 6 is promotional announcement and badge pinning. I'll take my place at the podium.
Okay.
It's my pleasure to announce the promotion of Shane Ackerson to the rank of captain. I'll tell you that Shane is one of those employees whose work ethic is just, I wish I had 1,000 of them. I could do fire protection in the whole state with people like Shane. And we're very, very pleased that he's risen through the ranks. He's a wonderful human being. He's very active in the rodeo during those 2 weeks. So it is with great pleasure that I introduced Shane Ackerson and his wife, his mother, Nancy. His wife was going to be here, but she's incidentally a sheriff's deputy also with Washoe County, and she could not get off shift, so that's why I had wife stuck in my brain. I'm sorry. So with that, Shane, here is your new badge.
This is a much nicer way to hold our meeting, so we appreciate this. And Shane, congratulations to you. And thank you and your wife for all your service. You guys are fabulous. And your mom, too. And your dad. I guess that's your dad back there. Thank you guys so much. Your whole family is wonderful. And since he's involved with the rodeo, you probably know him from your bull riding days.
Hopefully we haven't met. The bull part is correct, Shane.
All right. With that, we will move on to item 8, and that is presentation as the chief is coming back from IAFF Local 2487.
Looks like we have Mr. Josh Cutts, Captain Cutts, to make a presentation.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Josh Cutts, Secretary for IFF Local 2487. President Satterfield wasn't able to make it today, so they only had one thing for me to report to you guys. Our 7th annual Guns N' Hoses golf tournament is coming up at the end of April, so John Sieben wanted me to let you guys know that the next few weeks, sign-up sheets and flyers will be coming out. This is going to be our 7th year put on the tournament. Over the last 6 years, we raised upwards of $130,000, so we're really hoping to break that barrier this year. This tournament goes on to benefit the Northern Nevada Children's Cancer Foundation, so we're really hoping you guys come out and support and make a good showing. So be on the lookout. If you have any questions, feel free to contact John Sieben with our local.
All righty.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. Maybe, commissioners, maybe we should set up a foursome, the 4 of us, and
If you want to lose.
Well, maybe there's a last place prize.
The most strokes after Huckleberry.
Thank you very much. Chief?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 9 is the fire chief's report. I will mention that Chief Lisa Beaver is under the weather with the flu, so I'll do my best to fill in for her.
Okay.
I want to mention, now that we're in a new year, we'll be starting budget very soon. I'll be meeting with you individually to see what your priorities might be for the district, but nevertheless, the usual calendar will be here in April to present our draft budget to you. Open burning update, I'm going to be meeting with Kevin Dick of the Health District, and I've had a number of requests from citizens who have asked if they could begin the open burning process, not in the hydrographic basin, but in rural properties, particularly very far north into Warm Springs and areas where I don't think, as a layman, I don't think it would impact air quality so much. So January 25th, I'll be meeting with the staff, and now is always a good time as we have sufficient moisture on the ground. March, when it does officially open, is usually a windy month, and so we have few opportunities. So what I'm trying to seek from the Health District is if we could grant some exceptions to agricultural properties only to begin open burning sooner. And then finally, the green waste update. On the memo that was handed out to you, I have summarized some of the costs that we spent this year. This year's effort was probably 3 or 4 times what we did the previous year, and it's growing in popularity.
That's great.
We did budget for these costs, and the most significant costs, of course, were for heavy equipment and hauling the green waste after we masticated it to the local recycler. So with Chief Gorgon and his staff, he has been scouring GSA for trucks that we can obtain for free or at low cost so that we can reduce the trucking and subsequently probably cut the cost of the program in half in future years. So very encouraged by that effort. And moving on to item B, the fire prevention update. Lisa Beaver mentioned that the CWPP in the Verdi Mogul area is progressing. Boundaries will be determined on Thursday. The committee is very, very active, and we hope that this spring that we'll target Verdi as one of the communities for a green waste makeover, if you will. We're looking for some land where we can assemble all the green waste and continue the program throughout the summer, but we do intend to hit Verdi pretty hard as soon as the snow melts.
Good.
I'd like to invite Chief Gorgon to come up and give you the operational update.
Okay.
Madam Chair, just for the record, that item was submitted.
Yes. Thank you. Good morning, Chief Gorgon. How are you?
Good morning. I'll just give you a quick update on what we have going. Some months back, I think probably in June, you guys approved some budget items for water tenders. I'd just like to report that those tenders are going to be here probably first week in February. They're completed. They look beautiful. Working with the battalion chiefs, we'll put those in service sometime in February once we get radios put in them, and we'll get them out into the community to serve. Our Type 1 engines that you approved, I think, I'm going to say it was around September for 2 Type 1 engines. Those are, we're going back here in a week to take a look at those. They should be out here and completed by the first week in March. And then we'll get those out into the rotation into the community. Just kind of an update on, we haven't had any really significant calls, which is good over the holidays. December was busy as normal, as you can probably see in your packets from the previous months. We average around 900 calls a month, and we see an increase, a percentage every month going up. So nothing significant, but just to let you know, those water tenders will be here and our new Type 1s. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions, and
I don't think either one of them have anything to do with you, because we went through all of the issues. Mr. Fire Chief, I have a question about the green waste update with Full Circle Compost that we pay them $11,000 for recycling. Do they give any finished product back at a discount rate, or is this heavily discounted already that it wouldn't allow those people, specifically in the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District, who would like to have compost, do they get anything in return?
I don't believe so. I could certainly ask and lobby on behalf, but.
Yeah, I would ask for that, because that's gardener's gold. And but I don't know what their business, I've been out there to buy a bunch of compost, but I don't know what their business model is, what was the rate cut you got here, do they need to get rid of compost, or is that really where they make the money at the end? So just fair and square, but it might be something that they would be interested in if they, number one, aren't giving us a good price, or number two, have a lot of compost to get rid of at the end of the cooking season. And then in terms of fire protection update in Verdi, is Verdi targeted because it is at the wildland-urban interface for fire prevention? What makes them different than, let's say, Sun Valley?
Verdi has a significant wildland-urban interface, so much more that their fuels are, they have sagebrush there that we believe is probably, just say 50 years old, Chief, that it's very, very tall, maybe 8 feet. And in our survey, staff survey of the Verdi community, we see a significant hazard there. Verdi's population is fairly older, and so people are less able to do that kind of physical labor themselves.
Do we have for the whole entire district that we serve through people's line item tax towards directly to our district, do we have a full survey of all of those areas and where they fit in a priority of fire hazard reduction?
We don't. That's certainly on our list of things to do, and we're still waiting to get our fuels management officer hired, whose task will be to do a countywide survey of that.
Okay, I'd like to see that sooner rather than later, and I want the resources to be equitable and just, but most importantly, prioritized in terms of where you, the fire experts, say our biggest issue is. But I can tell you from representing majority Sun Valley, we have very elderly residents, and we have a lot of old sagebrush, and I'm sure, well, you know, we did a tour of the ditches that are not maintained well by either the property owners or the Sun Valley GID or TM, put us at quite a risk there as well. And I'm not saying where we rise on that level, but I do want to see a full survey in terms so we can at least plan and predict and lobby if necessary for what we need, especially this next session. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Jung. Commissioner Hartung.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I'm almost nearly lockstep with Commissioner Jung. I'm a little vexed as to why our green waste program, we're paying anything to have that stuff hauled away. I would think that one of the large nurseries in town, or you know, one of the folks as in the Donovan pit would be interested in that material. It's just high quality green material that's already been you know, burred up. So I'm just wondering how we got ourselves into this situation where, because we're paying some $11,000 a year or so, or $11,000 per time. What's the?
No, 11,000 total aggregate dollars for everything that we hauled in 2018.
Okay. Yeah, it just, I mean, it just seems like that has value. So I feel the same as Commissioner Jung. And then in terms of the wildland interface, and I understand completely Verdi, but we have that same interface in Spanish Springs. So I'm looking forward to seeing how we're going to come up with some innovative solutions and try to apply them region-wide. And then I wanted to commend you guys for the ash can program that we've distributed over 200, and we still have another 120. Those are sort of like seat belts. You don't know exactly how many people you've saved. I mean, you know the numbers go down, you know that it works, you know that it saves lives, but you just don't know, and it certainly saves property. So I'm thrilled with the program, and I've understood that there are some other agencies who are looking at starting their own programs.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Absolutely.
So we've seen Tahoe Douglas Fire Protection District and
Absolutely.
North Tahoe also initiate a ash can program. So
Yeah.
kudos to those
No,
two.
it's, no, and it can only benefit, So, great job. Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Hartung. Commissioner Herman, I don't see you on here, so, okay. I just wanted to say thank you to Vice Chair Jung, because asking for that survey is exactly what I know. Commissioner Herman and I have both been, having discussions about other areas. It's not such a big deal, I think, in most of my district, but certainly in Sun Valley and Bob's district and Commissioner Hartung's district, there's no question that we have a sagebrush piling up problem in a lot of different areas. So I think that study is an excellent idea. Thank you again, Vice Chair Jung. Okay, anything else, Chief?
The Commissioner dashboard, I'll let that item stand, and if
Okay,
you have any
yeah.
comments, you can certainly let me know
Yep.
afterwards.
All righty. I don't see any public comment. Okay, no public comment, so that was for discussion only, so let's move on to item 10. Chief?
Item 10 is discussion and direction to staff regarding 2019 Nevada legislative session and other legislative issues proposed by legislators or by other entities permitted by the Nevada State Legislature to submit bill draft requests. Adam Mayberry and I have met with Mike Brown, who is our lobbyist in that regard, and we're continuing to look at all the bill drafts. We don't have a lot of specifics on things that are pertinent to fire, but just wanted to report that we're keeping an eye on things as they move forward.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? I see no public comment, so we will move on to item 11.
Item 11 is possible closed session for the purpose of discussing labor issues with Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District per NRS 288.220. Staff does request a closed session.
Okay. Moving on to item 12. Yes, we do need to vote on it here?
On the closed session.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion for approval for the closed session. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Please cast your vote on the screen and affirm your vote above. Motion carries 4-0 with Commissioner Bob Lucy absent. And we will make an announcement at the end of the meeting about where we're going. Chief, we're down to item 12.
Item 12 is Commissioner Fire Chief's announcements, requests for information, topics for future agendas, and statements relating to items not on the agenda.
Chief, you have anything?
I do not, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Herman, I can see you reaching for the sign.
Just like to ask the chief when we might have that report on Gerlach fire. Can you give us some kind of answer on that?
Yes, I'm not allowed to answer, correct, Counselor?
If you know, informational item, just not.
Mike Brown has said a couple of more months, and he'll be here to present on Gerlach fire.
Okay, good. Good. Anyone else? Seeing nothing else, we will close item 12 and move on to item 13. The final public comment, Chief.
Public comment heard under this item will be limited to 3 minutes per person and may pertain to matters both on and off the Board of Fire Commissioners' agenda. The district will also hear public comment during individual action items with comment limited to 3 minutes per person.
I see no public comment listed. Madam Clerk, do you have anything I'm not seeing?
There is nobody signed in.
Okay, we will close public comment. And with that, we need to, Mr. Liparelli, tell us what we need to do, please.
Recess and adjourn after your closed session.
Okay, that's what I was just going to say. Thank you. We will recess, and then we will do our closed session after the BCC meeting, and then we will open this meeting up for closure. Okay, public comment and closure. Thank you. So we are in recess.